Pre-Construction Investment Seminar. Thank you for taking the time to stop by and join us in this event today. So I haven't done this since I was in elementary school. I haven't done a presentation in forever. So my name is Tram, and this is my partner Loy, and we're with Century 21 Kennect Realty. Our president, Ken Yeung, is one of the top leaders in the pre-construction industry, and he has been selling pre-construction for almost 20 years. Our special guest today includes Shalini, who is the Senior Sales and Marketing Manager from CentreCourt, as well as Baptista, who is the Mortgage Specialist from TD Bank. So now let's just get into this. What we're going to discuss today is pretty much what pre-construction is, how to get into the real estate market, what the market conditions are right now, how to choose a good builder when you're buying pre-construction. We're going to dwell in also how mortgage comes into play. We'll end it with a Q&A session and also a raffle for some lucky winners today. So what is pre-construction? So pre-construction is a real estate investment tool where you can purchase a property that has not yet been built or is currently under construction. So you would find something that suits your investment portfolio, and then you sign a contract for it. So with pre-construction, title is transferred on final closing when you pay all your closing costs, and that's when your mortgage will start. From start to finish, it may take probably 3 to 6 years, depending on how many floors there are in the condo unit, or if there's any construction delays. With pre-construction, there's also the right to assign if need be, because life happens and things can change in the future. So at least you have the right to assign your contract to a future buyer. So resale versus pre-construction, there are many differences, and you have to choose what works best for you. So talking about resale, so with resale you find something that is already existing, and usually you're going to have to close within 3 to 6 months, usually within 3 months, and you're going to buy something that is as is. So if you buy an older property, maybe you're going to have to spend some extra renovation money to make it your own or to make it even livable. With resale as well, you have to start getting your mortgage today and pay whatever the interest rates there are today. And of course, you also have to put that 20% down most likely today as well with resale. And ownership is transferred from the previous owner to yourself. With pre-construction, you're buying based on the floor plan and renderings. And renderings just means like pictures of what it looks like and things like that. And with pre-construction, you don't have to put your 20% down right away. You can take your time with the scheduled deposits required. So usually developers going to ask you to put down either $5,000 or $10,000 on signing, the balance to 5% in 30 days, maybe the next 5% in 3 to 6 months. But at least you can take your time with the deposit structure, and in order to save more money for those future deposits. You have to have that 20% down today to close. And of course, because you're buying something brand new that nobody has ever lived in before, you get to choose how it looks like. You get to choose your own color palettes, any upgrades that you may want to do in the future. Okay, so and with pre-construction, there is 2 closing dates. There is what you call an occupancy closing and a final closing. This is one thing that is really different from resale. So with pre-construction, there's occupancy closing, which means during that time the unit is ready, you're going to have the keys to your unit. And you have to start paying occupancy fees, because technically you're not the owner yet, the builder is still the owner. So you're going to pay things such as the maintenance fees, the property taxes, and the interest portion of what the builder is paying. So if you're going to put 20% down, you still have that 80% balance that you have to pay. So that's the interest portion that you're paying when you're doing occupancy. So that could equate to like $2,000, $3,000 a month per se. So if you're in like, let's say, a unit that is on the second floor and the building takes 6 to 9 months to complete, you might have to pay occupancy for that long. And then after that, there comes the final closing. The final closing, which is when you pay all of your closing costs. That's when title gets changed into your name, and that's when your mortgage starts. So with pre-construction, during occupancy, you don't own it yet. You have to pay occupancy fees. Final closing is when you do own it, when title gets changed into your name, when you pay all your closing costs, and that's when your mortgage starts. And of course, there's the difference between the contracts of a resale, property as opposed to a pre-construction. So in resale, you're buying something, you sign maybe 5 pages, but with pre-construction, there might be like 50 pages or more. But at least with pre-construction, you have that 10 days for you to bring it to a lawyer to review, and we always recommend you to bring it to a pre-construction lawyer that specializes in pre-construction, because they'll know what to look for. And with pre-construction, like here, there's a firm closing date, so you're gonna close on December 10th, that's the date you're gonna close. Whereas pre-construction, there's gonna be a first tentative occupancy date, and it could be moved up to like 3 times, but the builder has the right to notify you at least 3 months in advance if there are any delays. And we're gonna also dwell in what's the difference with CentreCourt when it comes into the occupancy stage later on.
I'll just quickly go back here. So, the truth is, when we're looking at the underlying fundamentals that support the real estate market, we know that immigration is something that's never going to change. So just in 2022, we saw close to 500,000 people enter into Canada, with close to 50% of them coming into Ontario. And even from this number here, close to 50% of those people came to the GTA. And what we know from that growth is, close to 100% of that growth is all due to international migration. But when we look at, again, looking at this number here, not everyone that's coming into Canada can afford to get into the low-rise market, right? Not everyone can go to the bank and get a mortgage today. Not everyone has 20% in their bank account. And condominiums and pre-construction, especially, provide more of an affordable option for people to achieve home ownership. So when we even look at new condo units that are coming into the GTA by the end of this year, it's around 32,000. So it seems like a big number, but when we're thinking about all the people coming into the GTA, again, that's a massive number. We can clearly see that there is still such a shortage of the supply to actually meet the demand. So, it really just sets the stage of immigration is just one of the fundamentals. And beyond that, we have things like tourism, international business, international students, that are just examples of sustainable growth and things that are never going to change. And because of that is why you will always see people trading in real estate. There's always going to be a moment where people need to buy or need to sell at any stage, no matter what the market condition is. And the truth is that we are still in a supply-constrained, land-constrained market. So there's still not enough land to actually meet the demand that we need. So with that, I'll pass it to Tram just to go over some of the benefits.
So there's so many benefits to buying in pre-construction, and there's always something for everybody. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself too. So the reason why we got into pre-construction is because, nowadays kids can't afford to purchase their own places because it's, the prices are too high. So we're starting this in preparation for our kids so that in the future, when the condos are done, we can either transfer it to them in their name, or we can keep, because we bought a bunch. So some of them will just rent it out and make our passive income that way. So we're building generational wealth this way, okay? Also with pre-construction, you're buying a fixed price. So it's not like buying resale where you have that negotiation room. You're buying, if something is $500,000, that's the price that you're paying for pre-construction, because there's no negotiation with pre-construction. pre-construction, which I dwelled on in the beginning, was you don't have to put your 20% down right away, such as resale. You can take your time with the required deposits with pre-construction, so that can be, 20% within 2 years, 20% within 4 years, or 20% by occupancy. So every project varies in what they do. And also they use the power of leverage. So for example, let's say you have 100,000 and you want to invest that 100,000. So you go to the bank and you say, you know what, banker, I want to invest this 100,000, but I want to buy 500,000 worth of mutual funds. They're going to look at you, they're like, no, you need to give me 500,000 and I'll invest that 500,000. But with pre-construction or with real estate in general, you can take that $100,000 and buy something that is worth 500,000. So you're using that leverage to build, equity and, that extra financial well-being for yourself. And another thing about buying pre-construction is the assignment. So this is one of the key areas, the reason why I like buying pre-construction, because life happens. And you don't know that in the future if one day you might need to sell your unit because you can't close for, maybe you lost your job, maybe you have to move to another country. So with pre-construction, at least you can exercise your assignment right and you can sell your contract to a future buyer. So that's a very, very big reason why I purchase pre-construction, because you never know what the future is going to bring. But it's kind of like having an insurance plan, just in case something happens. But the goal to real estate is always buy and hold. It's not to flip it and sell it early, because you're not going to make most of your, most of your profit that way. Thank you. So the goal to real estate is to buy and hold, and then let it appreciate in value, and that's where you're going to make most of your money. And of course, it's covered by Tram warranty. Yeah, you can touch that. So when you buy pre-construction, you're buying something brand new, and you'll be more reassured because it comes with a 7-year Tram warranty. You can actually Google that, read it all up. Instead of buying resale where nothing is really covered. And the process of pre-construction. So the process of pre-construction is first knowing what your budget is, and if you have the deposits in order to, make those purchases. Then you contact a realtor like myself or Lloyd, who specializes in pre-construction, and then we'll go through what you're looking for and give you the best selection. So then you choose your projects, and then you pick the units that you like. Then you submit a worksheet. So what a worksheet is basically just units that you're interested in. It has your contact information, and once the worksheet is submitted, if you're lucky, you get allocated a unit, and you sign for the contract. After you sign for the contract, you drop off the required deposits, all the post-dated checks, and then you have that wonderful 10-day cooling off period, because the contract is so long, you're not going to be able to review it on your own, so you will require a pre-construction lawyer to review your contract within these 10 days, and once you're happy with everything, then it'll become firm, and then you get your pre-approval, and then you start your new journey in being a new investor. Qualifying yourself.
So to understand resale or construction, if it's right for you, here's the questions that you may like to ask yourself. So you ask yourself, what is my end goal? Is there capital appreciation? Rental income? Do I want to be a landlord? If you don't want to be a landlord, that's okay too, because what we can do is we can recommend a property management company to come and take that burden on your shoulder. And just something that I'd like to mention is that part of the service that TramLoiRealtors provide, we purchase the pre-construction condo unit from us, we will be more than happy to lease it out for you, first time with no fee. And of course, with that being said, we also look at the tenant. We ask them to send us a credit report we ask them to give us letter of employment. We want to go through as much as we can just to make sure that they're going to be a good tenant, they're going to pay their rent on time, and they're going to be a right fit for the property that you invested in. And also, do you need a place to live right now, or is it something a few years down the road? We can help you look for a construction that perhaps with a long closing, or something with a closing that is earlier, and being with a part of the platinum brokerage, we have access to pretty much everything out in the GTA. And again, the pre-construction is not for you. We can also help you with the resale as well. Now, regarding the finances, do you have savings? Do you have access to funds? Do you have family or friends who can help you to qualify for a mortgage? We can refer you to someone like Sean down there from TV who can perhaps sit down, help you out, look at all the finances, and see how it can help you. Tram and I, we have dealt with many clients where they didn't even realize that they can get into the market, but you know what? They have big equity, which helped them get into their first condo, and several years later, they're down to 2-3 units, and now they're happy. It's just a new journey for people, right? So I'm going to end myself right here, and Tram and I are here for you. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact us. We're going to pass the next part to Shalini.
Yes, perfect. And the truth is, no matter what your answer is to any of these questions here, that's going to help decide if you are looking at resale versus pre-construction, and if you have decided that pre-construction is right for you, you'll also be able to determine which project can work for you as well. So for instance, even if you're asking yourself, do I need a place to live and when, that time period, whether it is 1 month from now, 1 year from now, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years from now, there could be different projects that actually align with what your investment goal is and what your future plan is as well. So again, depending on your answer, that's where Loy and Tram are able to assist you. Again, whether it's here at Pickering City Center, which we would love if you were to invest here, or if it's anywhere else in the GTA. Now, a little bit about myself. My name is Shalini Karthigesan. I'm the Senior Sales and Marketing Manager representing CentreCourt. So I have been in the real estate business for 12 years, solely selling pre-construction sales, okay? Pre-construction condos, sorry. I worked for a listing brokerage prior to joining CentreCourt, so this is before 5 years ago, where I represented different developers all across the GTA selling low, mid, and high-rise condos, all in different market conditions. So I had the opportunity to work with some great developers, but also some developers that were either brand new or even had projects that they canceled. So I know firsthand how important it is to align your hard-earned money with a reputable builder who has a proven track record. Now I'm going to just throw a question out there. So can anyone let me know how many pre-construction projects do you think have been launched since March of this year? You can just throw out a number. How many pre-con projects do you think across the GTA have actually launched? 100? So the answer is 70. So very close. Now out of that 70, how many projects do you think reached over 70% sold? Sorry?
All of them.
All of them. The real answer is 7. 7 condo projects out of 70 that have launched since March of this year have actually reached over 70% sold. So when we look at those 7 projects, 2 out of those 7 projects are actually our projects from CentreCourt. One is Pickering Station Condos, which is in downtown Etobicoke, which we launched beginning of May. Within 2 weeks, we already reached that 70% sold mark. And here at Pickering City Center, we reached 95% sold on our first tower within 5 days. So when you look at those 7 projects, what do those projects have that other projects don't? It really comes down to these 4 key principles that you see here on the screen. Every single developer that is a great developer, before they even acquire or buy the land, or before they launch a project, they're going to make sure that that project is in the best location possible. It needs to be close to major amenities and major institutions like universities, has to be close to major employers that are going to spark that new economic activity, for instance, that's going to attract more jobs, more residents, more businesses to open. They're all close to transit, so whether that's the TTC subway, GO train, or any future rapid transit, and they all offer something unique. And in today's market, again, it's a tougher market. The unique opportunity comes down to price point. It's all about value. So these 4 things are very important for you as a buyer because that will set the stage for what your future properties will actually be when we talk about value, right? You want to look at the current resale market, the current rental rates to understand, okay, this is the location, this is what's happening, this is what's going to change over time so that your money grows in that property more. Now, we know that almost every week it seems like a different project canceling, a project going into receivership, a developer going bankrupt. And the truth is, this is not something new. This is always has been happening. Even when I started, again, 12 years ago, at that time, there were developers canceling projects because they were selling the projects too cheap. And when construction costs were increasing, there was no profit for them, and they couldn't keep up. So they would cancel the project, or it would go into receivership, which means another developer can pick up that project and either choose to move forward with it. Maybe they do go back to the purchasers and ask for more money. We've seen this in the past. In today's market, it's on the other side of that spectrum. We actually see developers selling or trying to sell units at yesterday's high price. But if you price a project too high, no one's going to buy. And now no one is buying, the developer has nothing they can build. So that's why, again, we're seeing a lot of projects currently on the market under 30% sold. And it's only the ones that are priced well in the best locations, that are selling well, that are more viable to actually be built. So when you look at a developer, there are some questions that you have to ask. It's very important. Again, this could be one of the biggest investments that you will ever make in your life. So you want to look at a developer's track record. What have they actually sold? And beyond that, what have they built? How fast do they build? Some builders, like CentreCourt, it takes us 3 years from the start of construction to completion. Whereas other builders, maybe it takes them 7 years. So you have to look at that because that gives you an idea of what that reputation is of the developer. So asking realtors like Lloyd and Tram, who've been in this business for years, they can tell you the good developers versus the great ones and the ones you should avoid completely. You also want to look at who the developer is partnering with. So are they partnering with the best marketing team? Are they partnering with the best architects, the best contractors? It's all going to make a huge difference. So once you look at, okay, this is the best location, this is where my money is going to grow because of employment, because of transit, because of all of those options, and you look at this is a developer that I can trust, you also want to rely on your realtor to look at the market analysis. So what's happening today? What is the rental rates today? What's the resale like today? What are the plans for the future? Again, how is my money going to grow? You also want to look at financial projections. So we have a price list here. Again, pricing is king. That's the only way to really make money in pre-construction, by buying units at the lowest price possible so that you can make more money, more appreciation over time, right, as that asset grows. And of course, making sure it aligns with your personal investment goals, what you need from that property and your objectives. And again, evaluating any potential risks. So with any investment, whether that's real estate, whether that's stocks, GICs, there's always going to be risk and rewards there. So very important to look at that. Now, the truth about pre-construction is the more it costs to build, the higher the price. And this is exactly why we see downtown Toronto condo projects more expensive, because it costs the builder more to actually build. And that's why we see a trend of developers moving outside the downtown core into the suburbs. And it's also why we're able to make bold claims like we do here at Pickering City Centre that we are one of the most affordable condos in the GTA. What's also true is a new benchmark price is set with every new project. So when you're investing in a location, you have to look at, are there other condo projects coming here? Are there other developments that developers own, and will they be selling these condo suites? Because you know, again, opportunities for your money to grow. every new project that launches, one after another, will be priced higher and higher and higher than the ones before it. So looking at the growth of an area, do other developers have eyes on that same neighborhood? That's where you know it's a great place to invest. Or like a master plan community like we have here at Pickering City Center, where you know there's going to be over 10 towers right here. And by investing in towers 1, tower 2, you stand to profit the most as the area continues to grow. What's also true is pre-construction is a long-term gain. So yes, you have your opportunity to assign, which is essentially flipping and selling before the unit is complete. It is more of a safety net. It shouldn't be your first way of getting into the real estate market. However, that's exactly why we want to have the conversations about your buying capacity, your financial situation, to see what works for you. And what we know and what history has shown us time and time again is that investors who are the most profitable are the ones who buy and hold. It is imperative that you review the agreement of purchase and sale in your 10-day cooling period. It's 10 calendar days, not business days. And you don't want to just use any lawyer. You have to use a pre-construction lawyer. If you take your contract to a resale lawyer, I can guarantee, and they have no experience in pre-construction, they will misadvise you. And we've seen it over and over again. So a good lawyer is going to help you properly plan. They're going to look at closing costs. This is what you can expect once the property is complete 3 to 6 years down the line. And they're going to go over those closing costs, because something we have to acknowledge is there's no running away from it. In resale, we know closing costs of Tram are around 1 to 2%. But in pre-construction, it's around 5 to 8% of the purchase price, which is going to differ depending on the project, depending on the location, depending on the developer. But if you are investing with that long-term outlook of buying and holding, this fee that you're paying on closing is so minimal because you have that appreciation over time. Right? Again, when I started in real estate, Mark, Norris, Tram, Loy, when we all started, it was possible to have positive cash flow on properties. Today, that's not really the idea. The idea is you're getting into pre-construction either because you can't get into the resale market. It's an option for you to own real estate because, again, you don't have to get a mortgage today or have that 20% in your bank account, so it's more flexible. So really, again, pre-con is going to be a great option. Now, focusing on HST and the HST rebate, HST, which is 13%, is included in the price. If you are living in the unit, a rebate has already been applied to the purchase price, but no matter what, on that price list, on that contract, the price is the price, that doesn't change. On closing, you do have to make the claim with your lawyer if you are renting out the unit or if you are living in it. If you are an investor planning to rent out that unit, you do not qualify for that residential rebate that was already applied to your unit. So what you're doing is you're essentially forfeiting that rebate of the $24,000, so you're paying that up front on final closing. And once you have your 1-year lease in place, as soon as possible, once you have that 1-year lease, you are going to do your e-filing with your lawyer or your accountant, and you are going to get that $24,000 rebate back. Okay? So it's just a matter of cash flow, but no matter what, if you are an investor, if you are an end user, the price is the price. It doesn't change there. Now the carry-on warranty, this is the new home buyer's warranty that provides the warranty off of your deposits before the unit's complete, and the warranty on the unit itself that covers anywhere from a 1-year term, 2-year term, and 7-year term, again, depending on the coverage. This, I would say, is the most important thing to take away from this presentation as well, is just as you would qualify and interview a realtor, you also want to do the same with your lawyer. Not every lawyer is the same. And you want to make sure that a good lawyer, a good pre-construction lawyer, is going to review your agreement early. It should not take your lawyer more than 3 days to review the contract. And in fact, if they are a good lawyer, they are going to know everything about that developer and project already. They are also going to handle a large volume of pre-construction deals. So it's very important for you to ask the lawyer, how many pre-construction deals have you reviewed? And how many have you closed in the last 6 months? That answer is going to be indicative of their experience in pre-construction. Again, if this is one of the largest investments you will ever make in your life, why are you risking being misadvised? A good lawyer is going to understand your needs as an investor versus an end user, and they're going to understand their numbers, again, to make you feel confident in that 3 to 6 year closing date, to know exactly what to prepare for. Top priority for a lawyer is to make sure that that property is covered by the Tram warranty. Again, that protects your deposits and the unit. To make sure that your money is safe and held in trust, not just the deposits that are given to the builder, but they're in the builder's lawyer's trust account. They are going to be able to go through a full rundown of the developer and look at their track record. They are going to make sure your rights as a buyer are protected, that you understand closing costs and what you should save for, again, that 3 to 6 year period down the line, and that you understand exactly what you're buying. When we talk about mortgages today, we are also hyper-focused on the interest rates, that we forget to think about mortgages as the most important financial tool that we have access to. For majority of us in this room, the only way to achieve home ownership is to get a mortgage, and that's the truth. And that's actually a great thing that we have this option too, because in some countries, there are buyers that will have to pay cash and they don't actually have a mortgage that they can rely on. So it's very important to reframe how we think about mortgages. And even on our end, we see a lot of buyers who maybe they have cash, they don't need a mortgage come closing, but they will still elect to get a mortgage because it allows them to free up their capital or free up their money so they can invest elsewhere. It also allows them that power of leverage, so they're going to build equity, which you can now borrow from and invest elsewhere. So it's going to really amplify the investments and your returns as well. So with that said, I'm going to pass it on to Sean from TD to talk about his advice from the TD standpoint.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so my name's Sean. I've been with TD Bank for about 13 years now, doing specifically mortgages and real estate financing for the last 7 or 8. I would say that just as important, I mean, you want to do your due diligence to pick the right project. You definitely want to pick the right developer. You want to deal with an expert real estate agent like TramLoiRealtors who really know their stuff. And you want to deal with a real estate lawyer who knows the pre-construction industry. You also want to deal with a mortgage specialist or a mortgage broker who really knows the industry as well. You don't want to get any surprises down the line with appraisal. You want to make sure that your approval stands, and you really want someone that's working with you to strategize, get you that lowest rate possible, but most importantly, make sure that you get into this property that you're looking for. So when you are putting the mortgage application together, I would say that the number one most important thing to consider is going to be this top bullet point, your debt service ratios. And without getting too technical and into the numbers, basically what that means is we're putting your income into the application, and we're also factoring in all of your monthly expenses and seeing kind of, are you able to afford this mortgage that you're applying for? So items like car loans, credit cards, student debt, personal line of credits, loans, anything like that can have an impact on your application. A huge one that I want to highlight is car loans. A lot of times people assume that a $20,000 car loan means you get $20,000 less on this new mortgage. It's probably more like $100,000. It can have a big impact because you're paying that car loan off in 5 or 6 years, but you're paying your mortgage off in 25 or 30 years, and those payments are spread. So those are some things to consider, and the beautiful thing about pre-construction is that we can take a look at your financial picture today, and we can see where you'd like that to be in 2 or 3 years before a property like this would close. So if you have a car loan now, you have some credit card debt that you want to pay out, you have student loans from back in school, all of these things we can work towards and see what do you want that financial picture to look like in 2 or 3 or 4 years when this property is going to close. And you should be working with someone who can make a bit of a financial plan with you, make sure you're going to be able to hit those deposits, which brings you to the next point, your down payment. The beautiful thing about pre-construction, again, is your down payment. You don't have to have that 20% sitting in a savings account today that you're going to, like a pre-sale property where that's going to be due in 30 days. You spread this out over, depending on the project, 2 years, sometimes longer, and it's going to look like 5% in 30 days or 60 days, and another 5% maybe in 180 days, something like that. Another 5 following year, and usually going to be another 5% within that 2 or 3 year range before your property closes. But it gives you time. You can have 5 or 10% now, and what you want to do is work towards a realistic strategy that you're going to come up with that, say 20% before this property was to close. A mortgage specialist should help you come up with that idea. Builder cap rates. Usually that is a more appealing item that we'd like to talk about because you can lock in that nice low interest rate and save it for your closing date. Today, to be honest, you're probably not going to end up using a builder rate that you end up booking with myself or any mortgage specialist. The idea is that rates are going to be quite a bit lower by the time any pre-construction project closed in 2 or 3 or 4 years. So we use that as sort of a safety blanket. The nice thing about a 36-month cap, which not every institution is able to offer, is that you've got a firm approval. So like I said earlier, you don't have any surprises of needing to re-qualify in a few years' time. If there's a change at work, if you start your own business, whatever that might look like, you're already approved, you're good to go. Obviously something for you to think about if there is a change to your employment, just making sure that you're comfortable closing on a property and moving forward. But in terms of the approval, it's done. And then interest rate forecasts, as Loy mentioned, we don't have the crystal ball that we would like. We can't always know for sure, but what we can be pretty confident about is that rates are going to start coming down in 2024. Hopefully somewhere in the range of 0.5% in the spring, March, April area. Hopefully again throughout the remainder of the year and into 2025. So today's nasty interest rates of 6 or 7% would most likely be in the hopefully 3 to 4% range before a pre-construction project ever were to close. The beautiful thing about that is that you're buying a property at today's market value, and things like inflation, interest rates, today's demand are built into that price, but you're closing on it in 3 or 4 years at tomorrow's interest rate, so to speak. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. One thing I noticed before this presentation even started, and I just wanted to kind of very quickly mention it. Tram, you were speaking with a gentleman here earlier, and he mentioned, I'm really interested in buying one, but I think I'm going to hold off on Tower 1 and 2 and see what happens with interest rates. And I love what you said, because you said your today's market value is exactly that, it's today. If you're waiting for Towers 3 and 4, those would be priced higher. That's built in. And today's interest rates doesn't really matter for what that's going to look like in 2027, for example. So I think that really got the gears turning in his head. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're getting the lowest rate available, but when you're looking at pre-construction, that's not the end-all, be-all. You just want someone who's going to be on top of it and give you that update every time rates come down. We're going to reset that for you. So, yeah, I think that was great. I'll hand this over to Mark. You up?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sean.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Mark Hasley, sales consultant with CentreCourt. A little bit about myself. We've done pre-construction in and around the GTA for over 15 years now. Low rise to high rise and everything in between. I've seen it all, and most importantly, I've seen every kind of market condition, so I completely understand where people are coming from with the hesitance of buying. But there's some great opportunities that CentreCourt offers, some great values. And on average, regardless of the market conditions, it takes us approximately 2 weeks to reach construction financing sales goals in all of our projects. So the first one I want to talk about that reached that goal, which is approximately 90% sold, that started the sales in the second week of May, is Pickering Station condos. Similar to what Shalini had mentioned before, looking for a AAA location such as close to transportation, major employment and amenities, as well as unique opportunities. This one fits the bill. So it's located in downtown Etobicoke. It's just 2 minutes away from the Kipling Transit Hub. And the Kipling Transit Hub would be the hub of public transportation that would give you immediate access to the Kipling GO station, the TTC Kipling station as well, along with the MyWay Southern bus service and the Pearson International Express bus. So you can go to and from the Pearson International Airport in about 15 minutes for the price of using the TTC subway, the subway fare from TTC. And what's important about that is not only does it house over 50,000 employers at the Pearson International Airport, which is one of the largest employers in that particular area, you're less than a 2-minute walk away from all of these 4 major modes of transportation. We're also seeing a very huge transformation happening in that area with up to 30 new condos, over 13,000 new units that have been approved for zoning and will be up for construction and sales in the very near future, which makes Pickering Station condos an ideal place to park your money, knowing that as the new buildings come through the pipelines and are up for sale, you will see a new benchmark in the prices. And this, compared to any of the new developments that will be coming in the future, is the closest to the Pickering Transit Hub. We have some great incentives. We have some brochures around the scale model. Some of those incentives will include up to $75,000 off selected suites at Pickering Station condos. Like I mentioned, we're over 90% sold. We're planning to start construction early 2024, so there's a great opportunity to select some really good suites and really good incentives that we're offering. The next project that we have is the one that we're actually standing in as we speak, which is Pickering City Center. As we mentioned earlier, it is a 55-acre master plan community that will be surrounding the mall. So we look at the mall as an asset and looking to improve the shopping experience here at the Pickering Town Center Mall. And the fact that the unique opportunities that people will have here is knowing that there is a severe condo shortage. So when you're driving around the Pickering and Durham area, you know that this area is dominated by detached, semis, and townhomes in this area. So getting into the real estate market is quite challenging regardless of the market conditions. We all know that the prices are very high for any low-rise home. So to be able to get into the real estate market in an area where not only you're just steps away from the mall, steps away from the Go Pickering station, as well as the future bus rapid transit system that is going to run along Kingston Road, there's a great opportunity to invest in the first 2 towers. And as Sean and Tram were saying earlier, towers 3 and 4 are planning to come to sale in the near future, where you will see an appreciation of value there. Tower 1, we sold Tower 1 in less than 1 week, 95% sold. By the way, we started the sales in the 2nd week of September. Again, very challenging market for a lot of other developers. And then we quickly moved on to Tower 2, which is approximately 50% sold at this time. And one of the reasons why Towers 3 and 4, we know that we're going to see an increase in price, is that we moved so fast into Tower 2, we weren't able to increase the prices there. So anything that happens in the new year with Towers 3 and 4, you will see an appreciation if you invest in any of the first 2 towers that we have here. So like we mentioned before, this is a 55-acre master plan community that will complement and surround the mall. We know that getting into a development early is really good because you'll find that this is the first 4 towers of 10 towers in a multi-phase community. Like I mentioned, we're going to take advantage of the mall and everything that it offers, including the Farm Boy on the northwest corner, along with the Cineplex Mall, the Cineplex Theater, and over the 180 shops, 700,000 square feet that this mall has to offer. You also have, just 5 minutes away, Frenchman's Bay, as well as Durham Drive to enjoy in this particular area. And going back to the Pickering City Center investor blueprint, you always want to be one of the first to buy, because as more towers come through the pipelines, you're going to see the appreciation of the value. And what you'll also find by talking with Tram and Lloyd, they can show you some of the other developments that are happening in the area. We are always priced to sell, and if the proof is in the pudding by looking at the developments that are happening nearby, but most importantly, also resale homes as well. So our condos are comparable in price to resale condos that are currently on the market as we speak, which is a win-win for you, because not only are you able to buy it at today's prices, at today's resale markets, but more importantly, when you take possession, it'll be 3-4 years down the road. And as Sean mentioned earlier, it's very likely that you'll be facing payments that are a lot less in terms of your mortgage payments than what you would if you were to close on a resale property today. So all great reasons to look into CentreCourt projects, whether it be on the other side of the city, in Etobicoke, Pickering Station condos, or here at your doorstep, Pickering City Center. We're all here to assist you with any questions that you may need, and look and find the right suite that will meet your needs as well. So myself, Shalini, and Norris will all be around the scale model, brochures for both Pickering Station condos and Pickering City Center to give out. And if you have any questions, feel free to let us know.
So any anybody have any questions? We're all here to answer. If you don't, I just want to thank everybody for attending. So we're just going to do a little quick raffle, if you don't mind. So is Shalini around?
Yes.
Shalini, can you do the first winner, please? I don't have my glasses, so I can't see. So the first lucky winner is. Who's friend?
Oh, your mom.
Oh, okay, so there you go. Thank you, away. And this card. Okay. Thank you. And Mark, you want to do the
Yeah,
second
sure.
one?
Appreciate it. There you Oh, yeah.
There you go. And then
This is
Sean,
awesome.
I guess you can do the third one. Thank you.
So, Reg.
So, okay. There you go. Thank you for coming. And yeah, so everybody's here to answer any further questions you may have regarding Pickering City Center or the Pickering Station condos. And Lauren and I are here as well to answer any more real estate questions that you may have. Thanks for coming.